So this is the standard we're going to be covering today. It says compare properties of two functions, each represented in a different way, algebraically, graphically, numerically in tables, or by verbal description. So today we're going to be working with linear functions, and the goal for today is to identify the slope and the y-intercept. So let's get started. In the first example, they give you an equation, and this equation is in slope-intercept form. That means it has this format or setup, y equals mx plus b. The m is the slope, and the b is representing the y-intercept. So all you have to do is tell me what's the slope and what's the y-intercept straight from the equation. So the slope from this equation is 4, and the y-intercept is -1. But I also want you to write it as a point, so this would be 0, -1. So here's your try problem. And so the answer is m, your slope is -1/2, and your b is 2. Let's look at the second example. Let's say they give you an equation that looks like this, 3x plus 5y equals 15. This is in standard form. So what you have to do is change it to slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. So to do that, I'm going to rewrite the original equation. And then if you look, the mx is on the right side of the equation. So I'm going to go ahead and move it by doing -3x. Do it to the other side. This is going to be 0. Bring down the 5y. Then equals, I'm going to write the slope first, just because it follows this format. So -3x, then the b plus 15. Then I'm going to go ahead and divide everything by 5 to leave the y alone. And so we're going to get y equals -3/5x plus 3. Okay, 15 divided by 5 is 3. 5 divided by 5 is 1. So then from here, I can easily identify my slope. My slope is -3/5, and my b is 3. And if you write it as a point, it's going to be 0, 3. Here's your try problem. So again, you want to move the slope, the 3x, to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 3x to both sides. That crosses out. Bring down the 4y. Then we're going to write the slope first, so 3x, then plus b. Then divide everything by 4. And we're going to get y equals -3/4x plus 3. And then your slope is -3/4, and your b equals 3. If you write it as a point, it would be 0, 3. So the third example, if they give you 2 points, what you're going to do is label your points. One is going to be your point 1, so you're going to label it x1, y1. The other one would be point 2, so x2, y2. Then you're going to use your slope formula. So your slope formula is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Let's go ahead and replace the variables with the numbers. So y2 is -2 minus y1, which is 2, divided by x2, which is 6, minus your x1, which is 4. And then simplify. The top is going to turn into -4. The bottom is 2. -4 divided by 2 is -2. We just found the slope. Now to find the y-intercept, you are going to use your y equals mx plus b. And this is your slope. So now I got to pick a point. I'm going to pick the 4, 2. And this is your x, this is your y. So let's go ahead and substitute. So y is 2, so I'm going to write 2 equals my slope, which is -2 times x, which is 4, and then plus b, that's what we're looking for. Multiply -2 times 4, -8, then we have plus b equals 2. And then let's get rid of the -8 by doing plus 8 to both sides. This is going to zero out. b equals 10. So you have found your y-intercept and your slope. So now we can write the equation. It's going to be y equals your slope, x, plus your b. So here's your try problem. Let's go over it. So m equals y2 is 0 minus y1. Be careful with double negatives. You have the minus and the -1. Then on the bottom, you have x2, which is 2, minus x1, which is 3. Let's simplify. This turns into a positive, and the bottom is a -1. So your slope is -1. Let's find the y-intercept. So we're going to use y equals mx plus b. I'm going to pick the point. So let's do it. X and y. So y is -1. M is -1. Then we have times x, which is 3, and then plus b. Multiply these two, you get -3 plus b equals -1. Add the 3 to both sides. Cross it out. B equals +2. So now we can write the equation. Y equals -1, your slope. We can just write it as -x. And then plus your B. And that's it. So the last problem is an application. Let's take a moment to read it. Once you read it, you notice that your monthly fee is going to be $4. And every time you rent a special streaming service, it's going to cost you $1 each. So f of x, or your y, is the cost. You can write the cost as $4 plus every time you rent a special service, it's going to cost you $1. So that would be 1x. And we could just rewrite it as y equals 1x, which is just x plus 4. And then the slope here is 1, and your b is 4. If you write it as a point, 0, 4, and that's it. So now, if you're given a graph, you're going to use the rise over run method, and that just means that you're going to get to pick 2 points from the line and draw a triangle. So how much am I going up from the lower point to reach the higher point, and how much am I moving to the right or left? So it could be up or down for the rise, or left or right for the bottom number. So we're rising 3. I count 1, 2, 3. So your rise is 3, and then your run is 1. We just moved 1. So then your slope is 3 over 2. How do you identify the y-intercept? That would be in the y-axis. So in this line, up and down, this is your point. So the point that touches the y-axis, that would be your B, your y-intercept. So that is a -3. And that's your answer. Now write it as a point, 0, 3.